got us laughing. Hi, everybody. Thank you again. Thank you for watching another episode of the Creative Podcast. See, we're still kind of laughing. You're laughing because I was trying to say our next guest's name, trying to pronounce it right. Even I have met him before, and with this accent, cool accent that I have, just wanted to make sure to say it right because he's a very special guest for us here too. So we are privileged to have him here. But before introducing him, I want again to thank our guest, co-star, co-host, Lydia BBLex. Thank you for being with us again.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Sans. Our two co-hosts, Simone and Tevin. We are watching you. We're going to get you back for this. Okay, so let's get down to business. So again, thank you so much for being with us here.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. We have the privilege and the honor to have a legend on the makeup for the film industry, modeling industry, the fashion industry, Donyale. Let me see if I say it right. Your last name. Mcrae?
Mcrae.
Mcrae.
Yeah.
Close enough. Close enough.
My aunt's a famous jazz singer with the same name.
Oh.
Recording artist for decades.
Yeah.
She passed away in '96, but one of the jazz greats in this country. Carmen Mcrae was my aunt. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so that's why that name is there. Why I never want to be a singer. But anyway.
But still, you're talented.
It's in their family.
Yeah, it's in the family. It's talented.
It's there.
Big artist. So thank you so much. It's an honor for us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank
again.
you. Thank you so much. So thank you. So let's start from the beginning. Tell us a little bit about yourself. And we know that you do a lot of makeup. That's your main, the main thing that you do. But it's just, you work with a lot of big names out there, not only for the film industry, but also too for the fashion industry.
And music as well, too.
And music, too, as well.
Those three.
Too. So big names that you have worked with. So give us a little bit of your background, just how you started.
Oh, well, I think
let's start from the beginning. Let's start
from
there.
the beginning, it's
a very interesting story.
And that's an interesting story.
Yes.
I realized I needed a job. I'm from New York's Upper East Side, and when I was 19, I decided to have an apartment. Who knows how to pay for it? I mean, my family could have, but I wanted to be really independent, and I was going to continue college, and I did. And I got a job in a hair salon that was on 70th Street between Park and Madison Avenue, a townhouse. And it was part of a Glenby system, which they had salons in Saks Fifth Avenue and this and that. And I got the job because I guess they liked the way I look. I mean, I never had any training. They wanted me to do makeup, so I did makeup. They wanted me to do facials. I did facials. I knew how to do it somehow. It just clicked, And they liked my presentation. They said, oh, he's great, but I wasn't licensed.
You were natural.
No license. So the situation was someone came in to do some advertisement for the salon, and it happened to be the very world-famous man named Joey Mills. Wow. This is a man who invented Brooke Shields. This was the man who invented the 80s. Wow. When you saw his business card, it was maybe 50 Vogue covers thrown on the floor. On top of a ladder, they took a picture. However they landed, there was all his work, all of it. So here I was decorating my new makeup room, with these pictures in Vogue and Harper's Bazaar to make it look nice for my ladies that would come in to get treatment from me who knew nothing. But I could do it, waxing and all this. I knew it.
Yeah.
So he comes in and he says, oh, you must like my work. And I went, huh? He said, I'm Joey Mills. I went, no, really? And I said, oh, this is great. And he said, well, that's mine, that's mine, that's mine, that's mine. I went, oh, this is amazing. Mind you, I'm 19 years old, same height that I am, yeah? So I said to him, Joey, after about an hour, And he also borrowed my makeup too. I figured, why would he borrow my makeup if he did Brooke Shields and Calvin Klein ads and all this and this? Right. But that's okay. He's Joey Mills. He can have anything he wants. Right. So I said to him, can I ask maybe a rude question? Because in my culture, we don't ask people how they make their money. We don't do that, you know? And I said, might I just ask you, what did they pay you for something like this? This is 1976. He said, Donyale, not much. About $800 for 4 hours. And I was speechless. Wow. Totally speechless. Wow. Because I was making $125 a week. Okay? And I'm going like, $800. That means he's going to leave here and do another job. And that's going to be $1,600. And that's probably a cheap day for him. So I called my father and I said, Dad, I'm going to quit this job. I'm going to go to school full time and get this license, and I need to figure out how to do what I do. Now, prior to this, in 1975, I was hooking up with some photographers because I always loved photography. Mm-hmm. And, you know, we have test boards. I'll explain that. Every model agency in New York and in Europe, when they sign new girls, they have a test board where they put the names of the girls they're going to test. And they send them out to various photographers to get looks and pictures. Everyone works for free. And they build the girl's book, they build the photographer's book, and they build the makeup artist's book because we get to share those images. And there's all editorial stuff, you know, has to look like it's magazine quality or no one's, you know, wasting their time.
Right.
So I went through all these years of doing print, so I know what things look like on camera. I could have photographed them myself, but I know makeup-wise what it should look like, and I was doing all of that all those years. So I thought I had a portfolio. I really did. So, and I went, okay, you want my name on the pictures? So then I'll call some magazines. I'll take the pictures, I'll write the copy and put my name on it, and it will be on the newsstands, and I did that too. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't in Vogue. It was like hair magazines. You know those hair magazines that show you various hairdos? And I went, okay, that's editorial, isn't it? But it wasn't. But Joey really got me going as far as coming back to what the real industry was, and having agents were, and having booking agencies where, you know, you'll make $1,000 in 1979 for 8 hours or more, you know, and and I signed the beauty bookings actually, but I realized I had to go away to kind of get that look, so I moved to Milan. And in Milan, now we're talking 1983. Now I already have the license. I already finished that. And I started doing advertisements in Vogue with two men who were from South America that became very famous designers.
Right. So let me cut you a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when we met before,
mm-hmm.
and you told me this a little bit how you got into that magazine to work with them.
Oh, yes.
That was kind of interesting. So can you please share?
In Italy, yeah.
Yes.
Well, I've flown all the way to Milan based upon those two designers who were mm-hmm. now showing clothing in a fashion show. They said, come to Milan, we'll give you the fashion show to design. His name was Lisandro Sarasola, and the designer name was Sarasola, New York. So I got there, very interesting, my first time to Europe. Didn't know the language, but I know Latin because I used to sing Latin as a child, right? So I got there, and he told me he had the flu, and he said, Donyale, we've canceled the show. We're going to do the show informal at La Scala, the opera house, but it's going to be informal. And I went, really? I said, so what do I do now? He said, go see Vogue. And I went, what do you mean, go see Vogue? He said, go see Vogue. Well, where is Vogue? He said, get me the magazine on the table. He opened the magazine on the masthead, you know, where it says editor, da-da-da-da-da, the address, Condé Nast, you know. Uh-huh. He said, right here. So I took out a map, got on a taxi cab and went to Vogue. I go in the office and ask for, you know, the editor. Signora Marioni was her name. And they said, she's here. And I'm in this big fur coat, I mean, coyote, you know, and they don't see many black people in Milano. Yeah? So I walked through the door and I said, I want to see the editor. And they said, okay. I said, I'm Donyale Mcrae. They said, okay. Looking at me. Editor comes out and I says, I'm Donyale Mcrae and I'm very good. You should see my book. And she said, is this you? I have that on the wall. And I went, you do? Wow. She had one of Sarah Sola's ads on the wall in the office. And she said, this is easy. You're going to need an agent, and here's an address. I remember I kept the paper. It was on the masthead of Italian Vogue, and the address of the agency she wanted me to go. I kept that because it was a good omen, you know. So when I got to the agency, I said, the editor of Vogue sent me to you. Oh, yes, she did, you know. And then I was signed immediately. And then the very next day, I believe, I was on my way to Zermatt to shoot a fur commercial on the top of the Matterhorn. Can you imagine that within a 24-hour period? Without hyperbole, that's exactly what happened. And they said, we're going to pay in US dollars, and you're the only American we can hire, so you'll hold everyone's money crossing the border, because they will check. The American can carry that kind of money, but the Italians can't. It's going to be in US dollars too, you know? So I was up there on the Kleinhard doing furs for Fred the Furrier for a campaign called Woman Against Winter. And so that was in America while I was doing editorial, and that's how that kind of worked out.
Wow, that's amazing.
It's one of those little wonder stories, like, you know, but I think determination. I mean, with my family, and they're mostly first generation, there's no room for failure. Right. And if you're confident of us who you are and what your skills are, you can drop me in China. I'll learn Chinese and find out where the fashion is. And that's what I've always been. I mean, I've been to almost every continent comfortably. I don't have a worry about where I am and what's going to happen. I just figure it out. And, you know, and if you have a good education, you're good, really, you know? Mm-hmm.
Yes. And that's the key thing, like you say, big confidence in yourself.
You have to.
Big confidence.
And backed with good skills.
Uh-huh.
So, you know, it can't be bull. You need to know what you're doing and have the confidence to display it or talk about it and execute it, basically. Yes. Yeah?
Believe in yourself.
Yes,
you can say it. Be
absolutely.
confident. Believe in yourself.
Absolutely.
That's so awesome. That's so amazing with that. Yes. And so now you work, like we mentioned at the beginning, you work a lot with also too with film and music artists.
Yes. Well, what came first was music video.
I was going to ask that.
Because that was non-union.
Okay.
And probably a lot of it still is. So we're going from MTV, when that started in the early 80s, and all those film companies were just non-union. We worked like animals. I did three a week for about 15 to 16 hours a day. Yeah? And it doesn't matter when you know, wrapped, you may have to come home and start a new one at 5 a.m. the next morning with 2 or 3 hours sleep, which is illegal in the legal film business. They can't do that, as you know. But in music video back then, you could, you know? And I did it because I wanted the album covers too. So if I get you early and we, you know, the contract is for a music video and I haven't shot the album cover, I would get the familiarity with the artist and then shoot the album cover, and, you know, and it will be, you know.
Like all around.
And
so
then
play it there.
And, and it was fun, and it was on MTV, and since it couldn't be a movie because I was in union, music videos played every second on MTV, didn't they? Yeah? So my first really, really, really big one was Tina Turner, What's Love Got to Do with It?
I was just going to ask you that.
Yeah. And so I was already signed to Beauty Bookings and on my way back to America when that booking came through, you know? And, but you see, you have to understand where my head was then. Tina Turner was a lounge act. Ike and Tina Turner was not anything. She was playing in Vegas. Almost a B-list star when you think about it. If you go to nostalgia and think about the 60s, and then you have Ike and Tina Turner Review. But in 1983, it was Tina Turner, just with a new contract. No one knew what that song would do. We had no idea.
That was gonna take off.
Tina had, and she was lovely, just a lovely woman. Invited me to her house, you know, to have some wine, and she lived in California then. I saw my first cell phone. It was in a suitcase, an attaché case, and Roger Davis, her manager, was taking calls on 57th Street and opened up this big thing, and I went, "What's that?" He said, "It's a cell phone." I went, "What's that?" No clue. All right. So a lot of things happen, and you know, Tina basically since she didn't know me, she said, well, just going to do some basic stuff, and then you can touch up. I didn't fly across the Atlantic to touch up. See where my confidence is?
Yeah.
She sat down, and I went in and took a tissue and did like this, took her makeup. I said, we'll begin now. And that's how that happened.
Wow.
And the hair happened, the makeup happened, and all that. Yeah. That's then. That's the 80s.
That's so amazing.
Yeah.
So many. And
And
then you
then
work with another big
So
singer
many,
too,
from
so many.
Kiss to Prince, Samantha Fox, so many people, like a whole list of people, Regina Bell. I did A Whole New World for Aladdin,
Wow.
which won, Song of the Year, and all that, Video of the Year, that kind of stuff. It's been a lot. I've been a lucky person. Even department heading the Oscars, I did that twice, So I got to shoot every nominee in every category in 3 days in my table,
Wow.
one by one. But I work fast because I airbrush everything, so I'm not
Yes.
talking, I'm just doing and respecting who people are and getting it all through,
Yeah.
Right. And then, so that was, you said 3 years for the Oscars?
3 years for the Oscars? Or
Oh.
years ago? Is that your question?
No, I mean, how many?
300 people.
300 people.
Yeah,
for
they have an Oscar luncheon,
Mhm.
for all the nominees, and we get it done. Errol Morris was the person, the great Errol Morris, who is an incredible director, won the Oscar for The Fog of War, which I did with him. And he shoots these incredible documentaries, and they like his style. He's a man who invented white psych, which is putting a person against a white backdrop where everything is white, and they put that person there. And I'm sure you've seen commercials like that.
Yes.
He's the one who invented that.
Wow.
So they thought it'd be great to shoot the Oscar people that way.
Mhm.
And you'll find it on my clips on my website. You'll see those websites, those little
Yes.
things with everybody in it. Hmm?
So awesome. That's so awesome. So, what came first, the Oscar or the working in film and TV shows?
They're all happening at the same time. Well, we need to talk about sketch comedy. I designed the Dave Chappelle show,
Oh.
which is one of those big iconic things that's still on television.
Uh-huh.
you know.
Yes. Yeah.
Or for Friends, I did the theme
Oh.
for I'll Be There For You.
Like
and,
everybody loves.
And Courtney Cox is one of my first early clients before she joined
Uh-huh.
the Friends cast. So she was just an actress. I remember taking the Amtrak train with her to Baltimore to shoot a fashion commercial,
Wow.
because she was in Dancing in the Dark where Bruce Springsteen pulled her up on the stage.
Mhm.
We booked her from there to get, for this fashion thing, and it was fabulous. But there's a lot of things, like a lot of little stories like that.
Lots,
There's a lot of years
yeah.
in
We
between
need
all
a
that.
year. We need an hour for this.
Right? Can we extend it a little bit more?
There's just so much. There is.
God, there's.
But the Dave
there's a
Chappelle
lot.
show was fun because I did that by myself.
Mhm.
I had one assistant, so all special effects, all wigs, all blood wounds, all everything.
Everything.
I didn't know any better, and it was non-union. Comedy Central was non-union, yeah? And then even Stephen Colbert,
Mhm.
Strangers with Candy, I did a show called Exit 57. So all of these people came from Second City as comedians now, or, have shows of their own.
Right.
But they all started with me in that chair on a sketch comedy show for Comedy Central when I think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a lot.
That's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot. My mind is going.
That's why I said, did you look at what you wanted to talk? Because it's just so much.
It is, and we did. There's like
It's
too
a lot.
much.
I
It's
know,
like
I
a
know.
big, huge portfolio.
It's a lot, yeah.
It is. And then, I mean, she's more into fashion and film.
Mhm.
I'm more into film.
Yeah. Well, anything
And-
about film and fashion you want to ask me about? 'Cause I do
Yeah.
Armani. I did all the major designer campaigns in Milan. I worked in Paris. I worked in Germany, even for the German rail. I did the Bundesbahn commercials for inner city high speed trains, which was fun. Just so much.
Yeah.
Tokyo,
Wow.
a lot, a lot.
So there's one that we're talking about with our technical director here from the Studio Finante with Mark.
Yes.
World Walk Empire. You did the whole show for them.
For which?
Boardwalk
Oh,
Empire.
Boardwalk Empire.
Uh-huh.
Yes, 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 yes.
So tell us how was that experience or how
Oh my goodness! Well, we had a
like
great.
working.
I was not the department head. I was one of those technicians, and the crew was people who knew. Period.
Mm-hmm.
In our film union, you must know. Period, or you cannot do makeup in a movie. No one's going to educate you on that. If you get to a feature film,
Mm-hmm.
and you become a journeyman, which is the highest level of artistry, you have to know how to, do beards, mustaches, old age, period. Everything that you can do on a face, not hair, but anything hair attached to the face. And I happen to be a hairdresser as well, but that's not how I cross into the categories. Boardwalk was fun. I looked forward to it always because I like period work.
Mm-hmm.
And because the way I applied the makeup, because it was airbrushed, it qualified for HD, but the show was shot in Panavision actually, converted into HD afterwards, which meant that it was shot with old studio lights where you can feel the heat of the light, like old Panavision 35mm cameras. And that has a beautiful Hollywood finish to it, like any old movie is shot that way. So to get
More
that quality
original.
of beauty of skin and all that, it takes light, it takes the fullness, and it takes a technique.
Right.
And we all knew how to do it. And, they let me do what I was told to do. And to design it, it was whether right or wrong. And everything has to be right. You can't be wrong. You can't second guess anything. Not in those things. And it was fun. The crew was fabulous. The talent was fabulous. Some of it was shot around my house.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, because where my house was from 1895. So remember in the shot we did Cuba?
Mm-hmm.
Cuba was at the Hispanic Museum on Broadway, which has been there forever. We just turned the front of it into, old Cuba,
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That is so.
And the old cars were there. Every detail was there.
Right.
Every detail that you can imagine. They had to learn how to drive a Model T. Yeah?
Wow.
Yeah.
So, like on top of your mind, I
Yes.
imagine there are like so many people that you love working with. But right now, can you name, let's say, 2 or 3 people that you love working with, and you had the opportunity to work with them, do their makeup and everything? Who that would be, and why?
Well, I think off the top, the most one that I thought was fabulous was Helen Mirren. She had just done The Queen, and she's played Queen Elizabeth. And she was up for an Oscar, and I had her in my chair. And she sat down and said, okay, what can you do for an old lady who had too much to drink? That was her introduction.
Even fun. Nice.
That's one. The second one, I would think, was The Wolf of Wall Street. I had him that year, too, and he never had been airbrushed before.
So we're talking about Leonardo?
Leonardo. And I like him especially because I had injured my back when I was shooting The Wolf of Wall Street. And he saw me walk across the set, and he said, dude, what's wrong with you? And I said, I think I have a sciatic attack. He said, you need to go here. And he gave me a person that does acupuncture, what kind of led to me getting surgery a couple of years later from that. But it got me walking because it was frightful. I mean, I was on NOAA, and I couldn't figure out how I'd get across this big field in the middle of the night to go to the restroom because I couldn't walk.
Oh.
I could on crutches,
Right.
And I didn't want to not come to work because they kind of depend on you to be there, So I kind of like, if I'm not dead, I'll come to work.
Right.
That's just how we are,
Yes.
And so that's the second one. The third, I would think, there's so many that I would like.
I imagine.
Recently, I don't know, there's just so many people. The third one, I can't think because I don't want to just say, oh, you didn't mention me.
Right. I mean, if,
when you have that big of a repertoire.
yes, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember right from looking at your IMDb credits, you have like over 164 more
Yeah.
film credits.
Yeah, there's 180, I think, or something like that.
Something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Not counting all the fashion and the
Yeah.
industry, modeling, and
Yeah,
all
and that even wouldn't even
uh,
be in there.
and the music either.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. The music is
so
there because it's film,
uh,
but fashion
MTV
wouldn't be,
and
and no,
right, and
that's not
music
in there.
videos.
Will Smith, how about that? I
Oh.
did all the early Will Smith music videos when he was Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince before he became that. So parents just don't understand was names of music videos that were quirky, very 80 pieces.
Yes.
And, he was 19. I think I was 22.
Because like the Prince of Bel-Air and like in
Before
that
he even
time,
got that job, I
even
was
before,
doing him, yeah. He used to call me sir. I said, look, I'm 2 years older than you. Stop that.
But now he can call you sir.
Well, that's a bit, yeah.
Yeah, he can.
But no,
You
he's
hear that,
fine.
Will?
I mean, we kind of grew up together, kind of. You think about that, think about when he started and, his music videos. But as I said, I did so many of them, from Samantha Fox to all that kind of stuff around the world.
Wow,
Yeah, it's been a
that's
lot.
amazing. Well, I know. Is there anything you want to add, or
No, I think.
you might were like, wow, with
Your mind is
everything
like
going, and I mean, there's so much, like you say. I mean, like Lydia said, like if we can have more time,
No, it's
we
it's a
could.
little snippet.
But
and it's
hopefully,
good.
in the future, can call you back and everything. Is there anything that you wanna add, like another project that you're working that you can talk about? Because I know sometimes we cannot talk about
No,
anything.
there's nothing I'm
but
talking about now that I can say. But, with Local 480, when that starts, I'm sure I'll be asked for some things, and that's why I'm doing my prep work for them,
Okay.
locally to understand who I'm shooting and respecting their heritages,
Right.
and getting that right. And that's what I'm doing now, and having fun and shopping.
Nice. That's good.
I spend my time running around Albuquerque and buying things and looking at things and
Right.
going up to Santa Fe and thrift shops and antique stores and stuff like that. It's fun.
That's awesome. So, can you tell us your website so people can look
Yes,
at it?
it's www.donyalemcraemakeup.com.
Okay, sounds good.
And everything is in there. There's reels, the Oscars are in there, fashion work, Project Runway. That's another one of my shows from six seasons of that. As department head of designing that, that's a whole nother episode. Yeah,
We need more time.
but that's fashion, and that's fashion every week. That's some
Yes.
television. Yeah, and Heidi
Yeah.
Klum and all that stuff. Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. Well,
You're
just
welcome.
to close it up,
Yes.
any advice that you want to give to a common artist, makeup artist, or just anyone that want to be into the industry?
I would say your best bet in Albuquerque is to get yourself in this union, because that will open up the door to everything that comes from worldwide, whether it's LA, New York, or Europe. When it comes to Albuquerque, Albuquerque has spent, I was told, nearly $900 million to the just for Netflix. That's money that the state is giving people to produce in this town.
Right.
What's going to stop you is that you are not in the union. That will stop you because they cannot hire you. Yeah. And how to get there, you can go to the website for Local 480 and you can learn what the requirements are. They will take, non-union work. If you have days and your name is on the call sheet, you've done so many days as a makeup artist on a non-union production, they will take that as credit and get you in. But that's what I would say. Because there's benefits, health concerns, dental, pensions, everything you can imagine that this industry gives that makeup artist that you cannot get anywhere else.
That's the one of the things that a lot of people don't know about unions.
Mm-hmm.
They just think, oh, I'm joining the union. It's just the legal stuff. Is like strikes or this or that. But there's a whole other thing, some support.
Yeah, for the rest of my life, I'm paid for my union. Now that says a lot.
Yes.
I don't have to do anything but that, because I put my time in. So, if you put your time in and you have any health concerns, it's paid for. completely.
So completely.
Yeah. So that's
one
better
of the
than anything that's
benefits.
better than the federal government.
Right?
So if you want to be creative and you want to do these things, this is how you do it. That door has to open.
Right.
You know, and I was doing so many they came and got me and asked me to join the union from Showtime at the Apollo when I was department head of that. And they came and said, we want you in the union because we see you on our sets all the time. So they came and asked me if I wanted to join. You know, that's how that
Cool.
happened.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Well, we're running out of time.
We're running out of time.
We're running
Well,
out of
thank you
time.
for
I know the
having me.
studio
Thank
needs to
you.
close to you, but thank you so much.
Thank you for having
It
me.
is
Thank
an
you.
honor to have you here as
Thank
a
you.
guest. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much again, Lydia. Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
having me. Thank you.
Being that support.
For being here.
Being that support. And again, thank you, everybody. Thank you for watching another episode of the Creative Podcast. Don't forget to follow us on our YouTube channel at the Creative Podcast. And thank you to our partners to Studio 519. You can watch that or episode 2 on channel 26, Catharsis Media, channel 97, and RM Entertainment, a free Roku channel. And also too, you can watch RM Entertainment on Apple TV and Android TV. So again, thank you so much. Simone, Tevin, we're gonna wait for you for next time. Thank you and have a
Bye,
nice one.
everyone.